want daily resilience as an online entrepreneur so you can share your best contribution online? Hi, I'm Marissa Shadrick. I'm here to help you find daily resilience in work and life. And with me today is none other someone that I admire very much and I consider a friend, Mr. Ray Edwards. Hi, Ray. How you doing?
Hi. Great. Thank you for that. I consider you a friend also.
Thank you. I know many people know you, but for the sake of those that maybe jump on and watch this video, can you tell us a little bit about you? I know you have a huge background. You're a successful businessman. You're in the online space. You're all over social media, but just give us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm probably best known as a copywriter, the person who writes the words that sells products and services. I've had clients like Tony Robbins, Michael Hyatt, Amy Porterfield, Pat Flynn, Cliff Ravenscraft, a lot of other famous people. I've helped sell I'm getting close to about $400 million in sales of products and services online. That's been my specialty. That's how most people know me. I have a podcast that airs weekly until recently. Now it airs daily. It's called The Daily Ray. It's very humbly named. And so, yeah, I love entrepreneurship. I love business. And I love to talk about resilience because it's something we all need more of, I think.
I think so too. Just in context, so everybody understands where I'm headed with resilience. Most people consider resilience like a comeback from a setback, something, maybe they had a failure, maybe there's a situation that happened and they had to find a way to be able to get back on their feet and move on. This is more finding those daily things that we do for life to find daily resilience. So when we do have those tragedies that happen, we can come back a little faster. And I know I want to start with life, and I just love the heart of your story, and I think it would help so many people to know in life, you've had a few setbacks, and everybody has ups and downs in life. Everybody has things, challenges that come up, but you specifically struggled with depression. So I'm wondering if you can speak to that. How did you find daily resilience as you came out of that depression?
Well, it's been more than one cycle of that, so there's probably a longer answer, but the real true answer is there's been two key components to my being able to do that, and that has been my faith and my relationship with God. And, you know, just because you have faith and relationship with God doesn't mean you won't be depressed.
Mm-hmm.
Even
So
Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane had a moment of anguish and anxiety. But that's been key, that relationship. And then my wife, who is the one person in my life who is always ready to step in and say, hey, you're not being yourself. This is not the best version of you. And she has various ways of languaging it. Sometimes I need tough love. Sometimes I need tender love, but whichever it is I need, she knows, and she gives me that. And usually I end up listening to her eventually. So it's been those two things. And a knowledge, you know, learning, part of it is self-awareness, learning to know, okay, I recognize the behavior I'm engaging in right now. This is not me at my best.
Mm-hmm.
And giving yourself the grace to realize, okay, this is not me at my best, but this is not the new normal. This is not going to last forever. And the fact that you can recognize it and see it and know, okay, this is not really how I want to be or how I normally am. That's it's a big key component of resilience because it lets you know that there's something more, better, different in store in the future. And that gives you with depression, the whole definition of depression is the inability to construct a positive future mentally.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can say to yourself, it looks really bad now, but this is not really how I am normally. This is not me at my best. I will be better tomorrow or the next day or next week. You're constructing a hopeful future. So you're already one step out of the hole called depression.
Right. I love it because in that explanation, there was community because you have your wife. There's always other people. I think we weren't meant to do this life by ourselves. And then faith, which we have in common, that's a big part of it. But you also talked about the self-management, your own accountability to ask those critical questions to yourself. And I think that's important when we do that. And as you've continued in life, you've been able to be resilient now with a huge challenge. You want to tell us a little bit about your biggest challenge right now that you find you need that daily resilience?
Sure. About almost 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, which is a degenerative neurological disorder. And it's progressive, which means it only gets worse and you can't stop it and they can't cure it. It's kind of like the Terminator. But it's not terminal. That's one thing I'd like to clear up. People hear that disease name, they think, oh, you have a terminal disease. No, I do not. Well, we all do. It's called life.
Exactly.
We're all born with it. We're all infected with it. So there, deal with that.
Yeah.
But it's in the Parkinson's community, it's often said you die with Parkinson's, not of Parkinson's. But it can make the intervening period less comfortable. It interferes with your motor control. People think it's a shaking disease. There is some tremor. I have a little bit right now, just a little. But there's other things that happen. You find it more difficult to walk sometimes, difficult to do daily things that most people take for granted, like feeding yourself. It affects my speech sometimes more than other times. Like right now, it's a little bit affected. So it is something that is ever present. It's not a problem that you can put in the back of your mind and forget about, because it's always asserting itself, making itself known to you. And so that's a challenge. And the knowledge that unless and until God intervenes and lifts it from me, or until I'm done with this particular part of my journey, that I have to face it and deal with it, and it may get worse, that can be daunting. That can contribute to, well, depression, for instance. But I have a core belief. I used to say life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm more inclined to say life doesn't happen to us, it happens through us. Because we are the filter through which the meaning comes out. So I could take this diagnosis and say, well, this is a horrible thing. It's ruined my life. My life is over. I'm old before my time. I'm never going to be the same. I can't do, here's a list of things I can't do. That's one way I could filter this experience. Or I could filter it this way. I could say, well, this gives me the chance to become more empathetic, to understand people's pain more, to become a better person, which I have. I've become more patient. I've slowed down because I have to slow down. That's one of the symptoms. You slow down. So, I mean, there's people who pay thousands of dollars to go to retreats to learn how to slow down. I don't have to pay anything. I get it for free.
Yeah.
It's taught me to have a sense of humor about it, because, I mean, in the end, none of it really matters. We're all just wearing these temporary spacesuits for a while. So whatever's bugging us in this spacesuit, we'll be rid of it before too long, and we'll be into a better situation. Whatever you may believe, particularly, I think you'll be better off.
What do you think about our culture today? Do you think they embrace that resilience, or do you think that's why there's so many people struggling and so many people hurting out there?
I think overall the culture does want to embrace it. I think they don't know how.
Yeah.
And so I think the frustration for people is they hear lots of talk about grit and resilience and perseverance, and it sounds good to them and it rings true, and they feel like, yes, that's what I want. And then very few people can give them a real solid answer as to, well, okay, how do I do that? I think that's the challenge. That's where frustration comes from.
So I feel just being around you, I feel like I have to eat your smoke, because you're just going. I mean, you're speaking, you're on social media, you're writing, you haven't stopped. I mean, you keep going. I think that's very inspiring for some people that might get a little lazy like myself. It's very inspiring for us to know that, some of the owies that we think are so bad daily are not, it gives us perspective to see what's really true. And we want to give our best contribution, especially when we're online as entrepreneurs. And I think, again, I love what you said, how it goes through us. It's so true. And life, your work, I believe, is an extension of your life. So if you get the life part down, I feel it's going to help you in work. So as an entrepreneur, many online entrepreneurs get stuck. It's not about knowing. They know a lot of stuff. They maybe have a website, maybe they're all over social media, but they still get stuck. Do you think there's something in that resilience, the mindset, something that's holding them back?
Yeah, they're not happy. And lately I'm fascinated by the idea that there's nothing that's going to happen for us in the future. There's nothing out there somewhere that's going to make us happy. And we often operate from that perspective. We think, well, once I get this company built, I'll be happy. Once I make $1 million, I'll be happy. Once I get my debt paid off, I'll be happy. Once I get my relationship straightened out, I'll be happy. That's not true. Those things will not make you happy. You're either happy or you're not. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. But if you're not happy now, you won't be happy then. So this is something that Paul talked about. He said, I've learned the secret of being content, whether I have much or whether I have little. And that is the secret. The secret is you got to learn to be happy right now. You have to learn it's a decision. You have to find something to be happy about, even when things are bad. I have bad days with this condition. I have days that I'm not just lazy, I'm disabled, to be quite honest about it. But I can't let that steal my joy.
Right.
I'm not saying that I'm in that state thinking, oh, great, I get to be like this today. That's not how it goes. But I do remind myself, this will pass. This is not what's important. I'll think about things that make me happier. If nothing else, I can play with my puppies. So we just find something. There's always some way, there's always some reason, some excuse to be happy. And I think that most of the time our emotional state is a habit. Think about somebody you know who's always angry about stuff. You know somebody like this. We all do. They get angry about everything. It's not that everything makes them angry. It's that they're angry and they use everything as an excuse to be angry.
Right.
That's their habit.
Right.
So if you're not happy most of the time to develop a new habit.
So as they're working online, if they are stuck, maybe they should step back a moment and do a little bit of reflection and see where they are as a person first. Because maybe it's not the work. Maybe it's just them. They just need to stop, pause, take a walk, reflect, see what it is. The self-assessment, I think, is so important. We need to see why we feel what we feel, why we're thinking what we're thinking. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think self-awareness is key. And most people are not self-aware. Most people are in self-denial. They have an illusion, about what they should be, how they should look, how they should behave, how they should feel. And they don't feel that way because it's not them. And then they get upset with themselves. And so they're in this cycle of self-loathing and hatred and anger and bitterness and frustration. And I think the first step is to love yourself, just how you are.
That's gold, not self-assessment, but they're in denial. I think that's so true. That's so true. I got to do that as a tweetable. That was really, really good. But anyway, so you kind of told me what helps you as an online entrepreneur, your mindset, how you see things, your perspective, and you self-assess yourself to be able to see, am I happy? Why am I not happy? Now, who has helped you to be resilient? Because I believe we all need community. We weren't meant to be on an island. Who else has helped you to be resilient?
There's my wife. Yeah. There's the members of the mastermind group that I run.
Oh, I like that. Because I'm in it.
Yeah, and you're one of those people.
Oh, that's awesome.
My assistant, Tiffany, is very helpful in that regard. I mean, she's a person who's a truth teller. She doesn't have any problem saying, hey, you're being a jerk today. What's going on?
She's awesome. She's great.
She is awesome.
She's really tall. She's tall.
Yes, she is that. She is that. There's my son. There's my dogs. There's God. There's my pastor. I look, if I have one big shift that I made that's made a huge difference in my life, it's that embracing community and being transparent with your community. Because I used to be a non-people person. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Didn't want anybody to know anything about what was going on with me. You asked me how I was. It was always the same answer. Perfect. That's all you're going to get from me.
Yeah.
And you're never going to get any details. And that's a mistake. You isolate yourself, then you're in trouble, because that's how the wolves cull you from the herd. They isolate you from the herd. You're by yourself. Now you're vulnerable.
Yes.
Same way for us, as if you think about being a sheep in a herd, in a flock, who's your adversary? The wolf. And the wolf wants you by yourself because that's where he can get at you. Yeah. So don't be by yourself.
Yeah. Two more questions.
You have to find the courage to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 more questions. Who do you admire?
Who do I admire? I admire you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, I'll take that. Thank you.
It's true.
And last question, what's on the horizon for business? As an online entrepreneur, I know you're up to a lot of stuff. Can you give us a little bit about what's on the horizon? What are you excited about?
For me personally, or just business in general?
Business that's coming up.
I'm excited about these 3 words that I've emblazoned into my consciousness for the next year or so, probably ongoing, probably not just the next year. They are impartation, activation, and elevation. And usually when I get these words each year, they're not for other people, they're for me. This year, they're for other people. Impartation means teaching and giving what I know, imparting what I have to offer to other people in fullness, not holding anything back, not saying, well, I'm going to keep the good stuff for myself or keep my deepest secrets for me. It's giving everything I've got, imparting it to other people. Activation means getting people activated so they start doing the stuff I'm teaching. And I want my students to succeed beyond me. I think the mark of a good teacher is your students turn out better than you are. If you're a teacher whose students never exceed you, I don't think you're much of a teacher. I think you're more of a taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And then elevation is elevating other people's time in the spotlight above my own. The time when I desired to be in the spotlight as my primary goal has long since passed. I have the least interest in that I've ever had. Interesting enough, I have more opportunities now than I ever had. I think it's something God does that's funny. It's like, oh, you don't want it? Then you're ready for it.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
awesome.
elevating other people, giving other people a platform, helping them in whatever way I can, helping them grow their influence and impact in the world. That's what it's about for me now.
That's so cool. And you're still doing copywriting. I mean, you're still helping people learn how to be copywriters.
Sure. Baby got to have shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, which I think is amazing. It's awesome. Well, I really appreciate just how honest, authentic you are, Ray. And thank you so much for helping me and just joining me for this interview. I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people get a lot of value out of hearing kind of the backstory, the heart of the story of some online entrepreneurs. So thank you so much. Any last comments? Where can people find you if they want to connect? Where's the best place? Because I know you're everywhere. So where would you like them to be to find you and follow you?
Pretty simple answer, just rayedwards.com. And there's links and there's opportunity to sign up for an email list and all the things that you normally would expect. And any final words to say? Yes, you are a very wise, powerful woman with a big mission in the world. And I really support what you're doing. And I encourage everybody to follow along with your work because it's only going to get bigger and more impactful. You're one to watch. That's my final thought.
Oh, thank you, Ray. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All righty. Take care now, everyone.